All right, what's going on? Another walkthrough video today, and today we are doing tub racks. So it's two different versions of the tub rack. There's one for roller shutter, which is the one we're talking about today, and then the one where we drill the tub rack into the side of the car. So the side of the tub. We'll link that one below so you don't get confused. But this one here, we're putting it on this is a Vicor tub rack. Roller shutter. So Vicor roller shutter. If you got like a standard Ford one, Wild Track, MUX, they all sort of have this track on top, which we'll be utilizing today. And the way we tell the difference with the racks is this has like holes here that essentially sit on there like that. So these are a width adjustable tub rack as well. The height is set, but you can change the width. So pretty much any of your standard tubs like your Raptors or your Rangers, any of your MUXs, Tritons, anything like that with the roller shutter, this should work. If you need clarification, check on the website. We'll have a minimum and maximum span. But like I said before, this one is going on the Raptor. Now there's two different variations of this tub rack. There's a low profile and a mid profile. So today we're fitting the low profile because we want to keep this one low. But if you wanted a bit more room in your tub, then this is the mid one. So roof line about there for comparison. So this low one, we're going to be able to get the tub tent below the roof line or level with it, and then the other one would be slightly above it. So that's essentially the difference. But yes, for this example, we're going to do the low profile. Okay, so the next step, we're going to get a tape measure. Now you might need someone else to help measure this, but I remember from memory we're about 1384 on this car. And we are going to write that down because if you're anything like me, there's a fair bit going on inside your head. So you're probably going to forget that. And that will govern what we're going to set these tub racks at. So what I'm doing, I've flipped this one upside down already, put that over there. You'll have your bag of associated bolts. This is obviously way too many, but we'll refine that by the time you guys come around to fit it. This is like pretty early days, but we thought we'd shoot this walkthrough video while we're here. But essentially, these are your M10 bolts, and what I'm going to do is roughly get them center by eye, which is about there, and then just measure out our 1384. So let's see where we are. It's 1350. Come out a little bit further. Cool. So about 1380, 82 there. So pretty good. I'll just creep it a little bit more on either side so we're center. And then I'm going to go and put just loosely 4 bolts in either side. So go one there. Might speed it up a bit, but essentially I'm going to get all 4 in, nip them up so we still got a little bit of movement. That way when we go into the rack in a second, then it'll be all sweet. All right, so I am putting a bit of anti-seize on these bolts as well. So it is stainless on stainless, so stainless on stainless does like to bind. It heats up pretty quick, so it's good just to put a bit of anti-seize on there. It's like really cheap. It doesn't really matter which one you use, but that's just the one we're using today. There are all sorts of other ones like copper and whatnot, but this one seems to work well, so that's what we're going with. Okay, so they're all in. They're not fully tight, but they're almost tight, so I can still tap them and get a bit of sideways movement. That way when I throw this up in a sec, then I'll sort of sit it over these bolts and just square it up properly. So these ones here, these will not come with your roller shutter, purely because each roller shutter is going to take a different bolt. So just reach out to, say, Vicor or whoever and grab them. Otherwise, any sort of roof racks galore store, these are like sort of like a Rhino rack, just a universal bolt. These ones actually came out of a hardcore solar bracket kit that we had lying around. So they're very common. So grab something like that. It might even take a normal M8 bolt, you know. Right, so 2 there. And then of course we will have 2 at the front here. So I'll probably put that rack around there, I reckon. That's probably pretty good spacing. This is all made out of 4mm stainless steel, so it's strong as hell. So that, the further apart you can get them, the better essentially, and you really don't need a middle support. A lot of the reason we facilitated this journey is because there's so many racks around that we see on top of these, and they're really good brands, and you'll put them on and they'll actually bow the rack out. Like they're just not made properly. They're just cheap alley extrusion and they just bow. So we made them out of 4mm stainless, so that's not going to happen with our ones. So slide them in. cool. And then I will take a measurement as well once we get it on. So yeah, once that's on, we can throw this rack up the top. And I want to put the Outback Tour logo to the back just because it looks cool. So I'll see how I go by myself, but that's 1, 2, and then 1, 2. So I measured it pretty bloody good, but say it was a little bit out. This still has a bit of movement, so I'll be able to adjust it. So for now, I'll go ahead and I'm going to tighten this down on here first. That way it pulls this apart as far as it needs to be, and then I'll tighten this. So to make that a bit easy for myself, I'll put this roller shutter back if it wants to. I might need the key. But anyway, I'll put this back, get some washers on here and show you tightening that up, and then we'll get all this tight. We'll be ready to rock for the tent. Got our rack over the top, which you just saw, and then all I'm going to do is put these washers over our bolts here, and then a bit of anti-seize on them, on those threads. And then we have 2 nylocks. I did say I was going to open this cover, but I never did that because I don't know where the keys are. So we'll persist without it. We'll throw that on. They're nylocks, so we don't need spring washers. So anti-seize is messy stuff too, so just be careful with it. You don't get it all over your car. Before you know it, it's everywhere. And then essentially we can just start tightening these. So we've got it tightened down onto the roller shutter. Now I'll go through and tighten all these ones up. I don't want to go too crazy. They are M10, but we will make sure they are quite tight. So 4 of those either side, and we'll be on to the next one. And magic, your tent's on. All right, we obviously skipped that step, but it goes without saying. We lifted the tent on. We put the front rack on the exact same as the back. There was nothing different about it, so I didn't want to bore you with it. Then next we're going to fit the tent. So 2 different ways we can do it. We can use our saddle brackets that come with the tent, and they will go around the rack. But the way I prefer to do it is a bit easier. I've got the original bolts, I've cut them down a bit shorter, just so I'm not standing there for 10 years with a nylock. And then all I'm going to do is throw that guy in there. You might need someone to help you lift it because it can get quite heavy. I got a bit more leverage here. I just had to harden up and lift it myself, I think. But yeah, if you get under it and then lift it up, there's actually some slots in the rack, and that bolt will drop through. And then we're going to use a nut and washer and bolt that up underneath, and that'll be our tent fitted essentially. And I'm confident in fitting the tent that way with four fixings, as long as you tighten it up properly and use a washer. And like any tent installation, you need to check these are tight after you've done a few Ks, and you know, maybe every 10,000 just check them. But this is how I've mounted tents for many years and never had an issue. So this will be nice and easy. It is easy if you cut that bolt, otherwise they're going to hang down past here, look a bit dicky, but yeah, you get the idea. So I'll do the same on that side, and then we will tighten it all up. That's pretty much it, guys. It's all fitted up, and how good does it look? So like I was saying at the start of the video, it's all 4mm stainless, so this thing, you know, it does not flex. Like if you put these aluminium bars on it, the ones like we had before, or just the off-the-shelf ones from other brands, they just bow. No matter how many you put, 3, 4, 6, they're just really not up to the task. But 4mm stainless, you only need 2. You could add way more weight on if you wanted to. The tent is still below the roof line of the car, which is important. So that's the 1.5 Pro. The 1.5 Lite actually only goes to about here. It's even sleeker. So this is the low profile one. The mid profile, yeah, we'd be about another, I'd say like 60mm up. So that looks good. We didn't slam it all the way to the rack this time, because like our old rack, it was slammed all the way to the base, but it made it a bit annoying when you had this roller cover open. You just lost a fair bit of space having the tent pretty much right against it. So we decided to stick it up about 100mm. But yeah, I think it works great. Very impressed. That install was about, I'd say about 2 hours, and we were filming and we had lunch in between for a bit, had a bite to eat. So, you know, you probably get it done in an hour and a half, a couple of people. It really was quite pleasant to install. Some things we install, it's, you know, racks are tight and whatnot, but this was actually really good. So quite enjoyed it. And of course, if you have any questions, reach out. Be happy to answer all of them. Cheers.